Hello everyone, I'm Brior and welcome back to Goodgame Empire. This is round number 5 of Quick Tips. If you've seen the series before, I'm guessing you already know how it works, and even if you haven't, it's a fairly simple concept, so let's not waste any time and instead jump right into it. You are probably already aware that attacking desert watchtowers in the Burning Sands and dragons in the Fire Peaks is a great way to loot rubies. But in recent years, it's become a lot more competitive to get to those targets first. Why not supplement your ruby looting efforts by attacking barbarian watchtowers in Everwinter? Whenever you defeat one of these targets, you'll get 50 rubies, which admittedly is not a whole lot, but here's the thing. Because far fewer players go after the barbarian watchtowers, you should be able to defeat all of them in your area, maybe even hitting 4 or 5 local ones at once, so I think it's a pretty solid way to bring in rubies. I asked my audience on Twitter if they in fact attacked barbarian watchtowers, and the majority said that they did, which is actually something I don't believe. Just taking a look at the world map will confirm that most players don't touch the barbarian watchtowers, although perhaps my followers on Twitter are way more engaged with the game and are not a representative demographic. At the high levels of the game, if you are an active participant in the events, you'll be sending hundreds if not thousands of attacks against NPC targets every single day. That means you'll be losing a lot of troops and a lot of tools, but which is more important? I would suggest that most players structure their attacks in the way that causes them to lose the fewest troops, when they should be structuring their attacks in the way that saves them the most tools. In other words, prioritize your tools. It might be a better idea to attack only 2 flanks, even if that means taking extra losses, because in my experience, troops are way more replaceable. That's especially true if you are recruiting the veteran heavy crossbowmen, which are cheaper and faster to go through the barracks. If you're sending 34 extra wooden mantlets to attack that third flank of your local samurai camp, that means you're wasting approximately 40 minutes of production time in the siege workshop. Alternatively, you could buy 34 wooden mantlets from the armorer for 28,000 coins. Either way, perhaps a better solution would just be to not attack that third flank. An increasing number of players in large alliances are protecting their troops overnight by sending them to the alliance safe house, and that of course is a good thing. But what if you need to protect your troops for a shorter period, let's say 30 minutes? Well, in that case, I would suggest that it doesn't make sense to send your troops to the safe house, because when you recall them and wait for them to return, that will be lost time that you should be using to collect extra resources, by looting of course. Instead, send your armies between your own castles with heavy ballast stones. These are tools that you can purchase from the armorer that make your army move very slowly. If you're sending your army between your own castles, that tool won't be used up, so you only have to purchase a few of these, depending on how many armies you want to send. And of course, you only need to send one with your army to make it move more slowly. But anyways, if you have outposts that are very far apart, this tip even makes sense for you, because when you hit the retreat button on your army, it will return to your original castle very quickly. Speaking of ruby purchases at the armorer and elsewhere, I would suggest that you only ever make them when a discount is running in the game. Ask around in your alliance members to see if there has ever been a discount for something like the moat, for example, and when they say that yes, there has been, wait until this discount appears and save yourself the rubies. When I upgraded to a level 2 ruby moat, I saved over 30,000 rubies because when I did it, it was 50% off. Ruby discounts appear in the game for all sorts of things, including buildings and heroes and tools and equipment and really everything else, so once again, be smart, don't waste your rubies. I very often get asked to make guides for lower level players, but here's the thing. It's been a number of years since I've been a lower level player myself, and I've kind of forgotten how to play the game without access to a near unlimited amount of troops and tools. But here's one piece of advice I can definitely give to lower level players, and that is to ignore the Questbook. Really. The Questbook will often lead you in the wrong direction, for example encouraging you to build extra dwellings in your main castle when that will limit your food production and thus the amount of troops you can feed. It may sound counterintuitive, but I don't even think your focus should be on leveling up. I think the hardest part of the game is right when you turn level 70 and you are thrown into competition against legendary level 800 players, i.e. the players who have been working on their accounts for 5 or 6 years. You can't compete against them if you're not prepared. Nowadays, even low-level players have access to great sets like the Invader, so take your time and collect some of those before moving on. Even as a level 70 player myself, the only time that I open the quest book is whenever I'm working on a royal quest. Those are the ones that are timed. Goodgame Studios recently reran some of the old events, such as the Blade Coast, the Thorn King, and the Underworld, and you might have been wondering, what reason did people have to participate? After all, the rewards for those events are really old and, by most accounts, outdated. While that may be absolutely true, next time the events appear, consider entering them and completing them just for the achievement points. The achievement points will unlock additional flag symbols, of course, which come with various benefits, but one hidden benefit to achievement points is that they might help you get into a better alliance. I am the recruiter for the Unforgiven, and beyond might points and whether or not a player has his or her 6-wave unlocked, the next thing that I look at is achievement points, because that shows if players are actively participating in the events. Of course, achievement points alone won't get you very far. A good recruiter will also look at weekly loot, but if you are a recruiter, keep this in mind. Weekly loot can vary wildly, and if somebody knows that they need to inflate their might points and their weekly loot to get into your alliance, they might very well do that, whereas it's harder to do that with achievement points. Achievement points are a great indicator of for how long and how well somebody has been playing the game. It's been a number of years since the Foreign Invasion was added as an event to Goodgame Empire, and in that time players have gotten a whole lot stronger, but the Foreign Invader castles have not. So when you do get a powerful castle, say one with 6,000 or more troops in it, you want to make the very best use of it you can, and that means sending horsetail standards and your strongest possible attack. But let's say you get a really big target, maybe 12,000 troops, yes they do exist, and you can't beat it in one go. You might be tempted to send a second attack immediately afterward to clear it out, but I would recommend not doing that. Because if you lose by a very small margin, but then you leave that castle alone, sometimes it will regenerate to its former size, so that's an easy way to get a large target once again. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be all for today, so I hope you liked this video. If you found it informative, do me a favor and share it with somebody in your alliance. That really helps my channel grow. Also, maybe consider getting subscribed. Alright, thank you for watching. I've been Brior, and I'll see you next time.